regulated.
I love some of the stories you bring into the BNN newsroom every morning. Great context, and that's what we're looking for here. Our next guest says stocks have been moving more on macro issues than company specifics for some time. We're turning to Diana Avigdor. She is the head of trading at Barometer Capital for the answer and for a preview of the Canadian trading day. It's good to see you, Diana.
Good morning.
Well, what was it, a week ago we thought, oh, well, with the situation in Europe settled and in Greece settled, we can concentrate on the micro, on the actually pretty good earnings we were getting in the markets took off. Now we're right back in the mud.
That's right, Michael. And Catherine, you were saying earlier that how do you trade earnings this way? And so just for a bit of context, I have some numbers. Since last Wednesday, the S&P futures rallied 73 points and have now given back 66 points since Asia opened last Sunday. It's only Tuesday morning. And the DAX was at 4-month high last Wednesday and now at a 7-session low. So the swings are huge. And while earnings have come in well, of the S&P earnings, 70 beat, and in Canada about 50% beat. So of those that reported. So earnings have come in on balance fairly good, but it's all macro oriented. And when you wake up in the morning and you get these kind of news, asset managers, investors, you can't predict this kind of thing. And a lot of the sentiment indicators, such as VIX and correlations, and we've been talking about correlations for a long time, have been showing that fear is still high, and particularly correlations tell you that the trade is still the macro trade. So from an investment perspective, it's very hard for investors. You either have to have a vehicle which you can use to manage your exposure, or find an asset manager that's not afraid to manage your exposures and not afraid to go into different asset classes to get to where you want to be.
So Diana, on that front though, I mean, what would be a vehicle that an investor at home could actually use? And then also from an institutional money manager perspective, what would they be using in terms of protecting their portfolio or even taking advantage of some of these macro trading themes that we're seeing?
Right. So the simplest way, and it's fairly simple, is using the index futures or index ETFs or sector ETFs, depending on your exposure, to either go long or short, at least initially. Those are the only things that provide a basket of, diversified type of exposure. So if you're able to hedge your long with, say, S&P future or TSX 60 futures out there, you need to be able to manage that kind of equity exposure. There's also bond ETFs and bond futures that you can utilize. And sure, as a smaller investor, you may not have access to that. And so if you are utilizing a manager, make sure that that it's somebody that can hedge your exposures.
If this Greek referendum does not occur until January, are we looking at uncertainty during that entire period or are you positioning for uncertainty during that entire period? Or is the fact, and this sounds perverse, is the fact that there is going to be uncertainty for that length of period that gives us a little more clarity?
You know, there's lots of moving parts, and we can't guess what the politicians are going to do, but there is a couple of things that we know for sure. First of all, on Friday, there's going to be some kind of vote, so it's going to give us more clarity as to what's going to happen towards January or going forward. We have the G20 this month, and the 3rd and the 4th. We have the FOMC, hopefully is going to come in tomorrow and give us some kind of clarity. Whether the volatility will last into January, it's entirely possible in terms of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, what the European politicians are going to do. There definitely is an issue that needs to be fixed. How is what we're striving for.
All right, Diana, great to get your thoughts ahead of this trading day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Diana Avigdor is the head of trading at Barometer Capital, and she makes some good points there.
She does, in terms of limiting your exposure.
Yeah.
Using some index ETFs.
Exactly.
Or hiring a money manager to do it for you.
That's always a smart thing to do if you're a little guy. Coming up, we're going to check the markets and see where we stand just